Zombies burn in daylight. Probably this has already become something common for Minecraft. This applies not only to zombie, but also to skeletons, phantoms, stray and drowned. Most of hostile mobs in Minecraft are, so to speak, not alive. And the question arises, why do we burn? Today we will try to understand this class of mobs. Sit down comfortably, this is DragushanCRAFT, and we just start Minecraft theory. Let's start with the former people of race of Steves of the world of Minecraft. This includes zombies, cadavers, drowned, as well as stray and skeletons. Almost all burn in the sun except for cadavers. We will consider it first. You will surprise, but almost every mob from this list has its own reason to burn in the sun, and so the cadavers does not burn in the sun for obvious reasons. Firstly, it's not afraid of high temperature, since it's live in a desert around the clock, and secondly, it has its own cap that protects its head from the sun's rays. Interesting is that if you drown a cadaver, it will first turn into zombies and then into drowned. And now both versions will burn. That is, the wet one burns, but the dry one does not. So everyone listed here is not alive or simply walking dead. The skin of a normal person in Minecraft is Steves, adapted to walk in the sun without burning, but then a zombie appears who constantly lives in a mine, that is, in the dark, and only crawls out at night when there are no sun rays. In fact, the burning of zombies can be explained entirely by physical phenomena. Burning is not associated with zombies by any curse. They say that during the day they burn because of a spell cast on them. No, if you are hit by burning zombies, you will also catch fire, which means that the fire is real and burns like a real one. So, firstly, the dead person's body stops working properly. It would be more correct to say that it stops working at all. The blood no longer circulated through the body, which is why zombies in Minecraft are green. The body stops producing melanin, which we have even in real life. Thanks to it, we can be in the strong sun without fear. And melanin also gives a person's natural coloring, so zombies do not have it, so their body is not adapted to such a temperature. In addition, you can also put his habitat on top. This is a dark mines and caves, where there is no light at all. It's the same with the drowning zombie in Minecraft. There is no much light underwater, especially considering that these creatures emerge from the water deep in the ocean floor. They rarely travel on land as the temperature drops. The same facts just cannot be applied to skeletons, stray, and especially to the phantom. As you noticed, the structure of skeletons is not connected by flesh and muscle like zombies. It's just a pile of bones that for some unknown reason can move independently, and the empty inside of the skull is smart enough to aim and shoot a weapon while hitting and killing a player, develop tactics of combat with a retreat, and also the survival instinct to hide from the sun. The stray have all the same, but also freezing arrows. It's easy to guess that if a body of skeletons is not held by flesh and muscle, let's be honest, it's a magic. We have no choice. After all, it's a magic that helps skeletons find and kill the character at night. Skeletons are also lovers of dark places. They often appear in the caves and mines. But if you try to explain the burn of a skeleton physically, then unfortunately nothing will come of it. But I have a guess that this dark magic, binding the bones under the rays of the suns, begin to lose its power and skeletons begins to catch a fire. The same can be said about the stray. Accustomed to living in a cold biome and going out in the dark, could suddenly find himself under the sunlight. The bones of a long dead person found by magic will begin to burn. The situation with phantoms is much more interesting. By the way, what do you think? Are phantoms real? Or is it just an illusion of a character from the lack of sleep? Suggest in the comments, and if there is a dispute, then I will create a full-fledged theory of who phantoms are and how they are connected with the void. Now let's answer the question of why it burns in the light of the day. By the way, a pretty good way to hide from them is to just wait out the night in the house, and in the morning they will just burn. Let's start with the fact that a phantom is like a zombie and skeletons, are also undead. In fact, a flying dead creature driven only by instinct to kill the player. But in order to understand why the phantoms burn in the daylight, You need to understand where it comes from. This question can be answered by the particles of emptiness, and which appear from the tips of the wings of a phantom. I already talked about these particles in my video about what bedrock consists of. So these particles used to appear when approaching the emptiness under the world, and in the emptiness itself there was a whole sea of them. So phantoms emit exactly the same particles. I think this is due to the fact that they are just between the worlds. They live in the emptiness that connects all three worlds. And as soon as some character does not sleep for a long time, they find a way to fly or teleport from the emptiness. Having determined their habitat, it's now not difficult to understand why they burn in the sun. They live in a dark place and hunt at night. Their body is simply not adapted to life in the sun, and even magic cannot save them. Of course, we still have undead like a zombie piglin or wither skeletons or the wither itself. I think you can answer the question of why they do not burn in the sunlight yourself. Living in the Nether, they are accustomed to huge temperature. Let me remind you that in the Nether, even water instantly evaporates. Therefore, the sun's rays are just warm and pleasant for them. This is where my short theory comes to an end. If you agree with my theory, then put a like, and if you're not, then write your own theory in the comments. So, it was DragushanCRAFT. Goodbye.